Well, the initial fire was actually did not start on the refuge. It started about 12 miles northwest of the refuge on private property, northwest of Waycross. It was started by a downed power line. It had some high winds, and the power line hit the ground and caused a spark and a fire that ran eventually 12 miles into the northwest corner of the refuge. I'm Howard McCullough. I'm a forestry technician here at Okefenokee National Wildlife Refuge, and I've been here for the past 23 years. My primary duties deal with managing the longleaf pine forest here on the refuge. We're actually trying to restore that entire longleaf pine ecosystem. But it also involves fire activities such as prescribed burning and wildfire suppression.
At its peak, we had 3 different, type 1 fire teams fighting it from different angles. So there was a refuge federal team on the east, there was a state team on the west. To the south, there's another federal team, and all these volunteer fire departments were all doing their part to stop that fire, push it back, contain it. Sometimes you have to burn out. When you get a break in the weather, you can burn out and remove some of that fuel. Because remember, we didn't get this fire contained until November.
Well, no, we never know how big they're going to get. The conditions were such that it was going to be hard to control. I mean, Georgia, from the initial start of the fire, all they could do was just kind of follow up the flanks, the 2 edges of the fire. They couldn't get out in front of it and do much because it was just spotting so far out ahead of itself. So, it had potential, and we knew it had potential given the conditions, weather conditions that we had to get really big. And as I said, it ran from the initial start 12 miles to the refuge boundary. So that was a pretty big fire before it ever entered the refuge.
So fire is one of these fickle things that it's different every time. It burns a different pattern. So as long as you have this landscape with a variety of patterns, you have all sorts of built-in resilience and diversity for your species. So our wildlife really came back quite well. If it wasn't for droughts and fires and floods, the Okefenokee would just evolve into basically a forested bog with a lot less diversity than we have right now. So it's integral to the health and long-term viability of the Okefenokee swamp in the wilderness area to have fire and droughts and floods. It's what makes it, so unique and beautiful.